Tasty Tuesday with Family and Community Health Sciences, Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Somerset County. I'm Daryl Mitch, and today we're going to make jicama in a slaw and also going to make some spicy jicama sticks. Unfortunately, I really can't see the chat right at the moment, but if you've ever tried jicama, please put that in the chat. I'd be interested to see. This is jicama. It is a root vegetable, very common and grown in Mexico. It's also popular in a lot of Asian cuisines. It is a tuber, grows under the ground. And the interesting part about jicama, amongst the fact that it's really delicious, is that it is the only edible part of the plant. So the vines, the roots that would be off at the bottom of the tuber, the mature pods that are found on the plant as it grows, they're all poisonous. But this tuber is edible and absolutely delicious. So if you've never had jicama before, it is very crunchy, juicy. I think it's very similar to a water chestnut or maybe like a crisp apple. The flavor is sweet, a little bit sweet, not overly sweet, similar to a very mild apple, and kind of bland. So it doesn't, it'll absorb flavors. It will suck up flavors from marinades and other flavors that you can use. It can be eaten raw, which is what we're doing today, or it's great in stir fries or anything else that has a short cooking piece that you want to have a nice little crunch in there as well. So when you're looking for jicama, look in the markets. It's usually with other Hispanic foods or maybe in an Asian market. I have found it in probably the stores I shop in regularly. 2 of the 3 had jicama, the others did not. So it really just depends on demand, but ask for it in the store. It's about $2.49 a pound. This is probably about a pound. They come in a variety of sizes. But what you want to look for is not, it should be nice and firm, heavy in the hand, no soft spots. It has a brown skin. The skin is very similar to a sweet potato in its thickness. The markets that I've purchased these in, the jicama has been waxed. Now people always ask, why do we wax foods? Well, we wax foods to help retain moisture so they don't dry out so quickly. It also improves shipping. So typically you will see things like cucumbers, sometimes rutabagas or turnips, and jicama are often waxed. It is a food grade wax. It would be edible if you ate it, but not very appealing. It does make peeling a bit more of a challenge, so you may find these waxed or unwaxed in the market. It's a little hard to tell until you peel them what the inside is like. I'm going to show you this quickly, but I bought a few of these and you can kind of see it's kind of brown compared to this one. And this is not discoloration from sitting out. I think this one's old. I did taste it. It is not as sweet and flavorful as it should be. So I would not use this raw. I might use it in cooking, but I got a bad jicama. All right, so peeling it, it's easiest to do it with a knife, and sometimes you can get the knife underneath the skin and then just peel it back like that, and it'll come right off. Sometimes there's a little bit of a layer of stringy fiber under there. Jicama is very high in fiber, as I said, so you can peel that off. I found that the peeler doesn't work quite as well. Once you get the skin off, and again, if it's very heavily waxed, that's more of a challenge. You can use a peeler if there's some surface fiber that you want to remove as well. If you get a jicama that seems very fibrous, that one will probably be better in a cooked dish than eaten raw. So I'm going to set this aside for another use. And today's recipe uses jicama. We're going to use a carrot. And I'm going to use some radish, and I might toss in a little bit of red cabbage that I happen to have at home. So many recipes out there for different kinds of slaws. Some add Napa cabbage, some add some red cabbage, some add apple. I've seen some with mango. So you can really play a lot with the flavors, and I think the beauty of it is crunch. Now for this recipe, we're going to slice it really thin into matchsticks. And then you could also grate it like you would carrots for a slaw. So once I have it sliced nice and thin, I'm going to cut it into narrow ribbons. I like the, so we're getting matchsticks here. I like the sticks, it's just a little bit different texture. Now this slaw is really nice eaten as a side dish. It would be great with tacos or a pulled chicken dish. And what you see is you get nice small jicama sticks. And we're going to toss those into our bowl. And the beauty is these don't darken up at all, so you don't have to worry about you know, it turning dark. It's a good dish you can make well ahead for your I'm going to switch to a slightly bigger knife here. Some more jicama sticks. Another tool that I happen to have at home is this, looks like a peeler but has teeth, and when you pull it, pull it down, it makes kind of like a grating. I use it periodically, so it makes a nice grated area. So that's another tool. If you have this type of a tool at home, you can easily use that to grate your jicama into nice pieces for your dish. So we have my jicama in here, and now we're going to do the same thing with the carrots. I'm just going to cut a little edge off the carrot so it lays flat. And we're going to cut some thin strips. Carrots, great source of beta carotene, vitamin A. Oops. Can't stack it up too much. I'm going to cut these a little bit in half so they're just a little bit smaller. Oops. So how do you keep the jicama? Jicama I can keep online. I'm sorry, jicama keeps in the refrigerator uncut probably for 2-3 weeks. It'll keep a really long time. I would put it in a bag, and you want to keep it dry. You don't want it to be overly humid. Now the waxed ones, of course, they have that coating on it, so then they don't absorb moisture either. So you can use as much of the carrots and the jicama as you need for your family. It's very user-friendly recipe. And once you cut the jicama, you probably want to keep it wrapped, covered in a plastic container or with some plastic wrap on top of it, and then use it within about a week. So as you can see here, we have a nice mix of the white and the orange from the carrots. And now I'm going to add some radishes. I like the radishes because it gives a nice bite to the dish. And I'm just going to slice these really thin. This was a really big radish, so I quartered it. Radishes are another, excuse me, food that's very low in calories, doesn't discolor, and it has a lot of nice crunch, and of course packs a little bit of peppery heat. Radishes come in a lot of different colors, and it's one of those vegetables you can plant early. So I actually planted some radishes along with some sweet peas, not sweet peas, pea pods yesterday, and hopefully in another month and a half we'll have something to harvest. Maybe we could do a class on that too. And if you don't have an in-ground garden, I put my radishes in a large pot. So it is something you could do on a porch or next to your front door. Just want a really nice sunny spot. Okay, so I have my radishes in there. Really nice. Now I happen to have some red cabbage, so I just shredded up a little bit of that. So I'm just going to add that for more pop of color. And now the dressing for this particular recipe is really easy. You can do whatever you want for this, but the recipe I'm using is 1 tablespoon of oil. I'm using a neutral vegetable oil. This happens to be canola. You could use safflower, corn, sunflower, whatever you have on hand. I didn't want to use the olive oil because it has a very distinctive taste, and I do use the more virgin olive oil, which has more flavor. Actually, I can't get this open. Hold on. Okay. We're going to add lime juice. Now, I'm going to use bottled lime juice. So, 2 tablespoons of lime juice. If you prefer, you could use lemon juice. Again, you can do whatever you want. And now we're going to add 2 teaspoons of honey. Again, this is your call. You don't have to use any if you don't want to. Give it a little bit of pepper. And just a pinch of salt, not too much. And we're just going to whisk this together. So lime juice, honey, a little bit of oil, salt and pepper. That's it. So it's probably about a 1/4 cup, which is plenty for this. I'm going to add a little bit of lime zest. A little more brightness to the dish. And we'll use my tongs to toss this up. You're going to want to let this marinate for maybe at least 15 minutes. But again, this is a make-ahead dish. Nothing's going to discolor. So if you wanted to make this early in the day for a meal you're going to have later, you would be able to do that. So here's our slaw, jicama, carrots, and radishes, and just a handful of red cabbage for a pop of color, but you can do what you want. I think it looks delicious. It tastes great too. Again, you could serve it as a side dish, great with tacos, with pulled chicken, a really nice side dish. Okay. So one more thing I wanted to show you real quickly, and that is jicama, I'll call them spicy sticks. I never know what to call them. Some call them fries that aren't fried. So for these, I'm going to cut the jicama probably about a 1/4 inch thick. This is probably one of my new favorite things. This is a almost like a street food. It's frequently made and served with beverages. I think it'd be great with a nice glass of lemonade in the summer. So I'm cutting my jicama sticks about like this, so 1/4 inch square, kind of like skinny French fries. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these in this dish for just a moment. And I'm going to sprinkle this with just a little bit of lime juice. You could use lemon juice. This is very traditional. Toss this around a bit. And then the next thing I'm going to do is take these out. Just let the excess lime juice drip off. And typically the seasoning that's used on these is chili powder. But again, I think you could use any number of seasoning mixes. So I'm going to use some chili powder. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on. And of course, some people may want to add just a pinch of salt, but I don't think it's necessary. Now, don't go too heavy-handed. The first couple times I tried this, I put way too much chili powder on, so it was very spicy. And you can take these for fun serving. Stick them in a cute little glass and serve them like this. I did see a recipe ages ago online that also used watermelon sticks in the same manner, put a little bit of the same chili powder on them, and paired it with the jicama as a serving. And wow, what a nice, refreshing, crunchy, no calorie snack to have with maybe a nice glass of lemonade or iced tea or whatever beverage of your choice. So I hope you'll try some jicama. Go to your local market and see if you can pick some up. I think this is going to be my go-to snack during the summer. Quick and easy, and I can make it even extra in the morning and have it for later. I hope you enjoyed that. A few upcoming events I just want to mention. One is that tomorrow at 2, we're having our Wellness Wednesday with FCHS. The topic is part 2. It's about seafood and health. Great presentation. If you missed part 1, you will be able to view the recording. On Thursday night at 6:30, we have 2 of my colleagues who are really experts on physical activity, and we're going to do something called Ask the Expert. So that is a Zoom meeting. We'd like you to sign up, and you can get all your questions answered at 6:30 to 8 p.m. No, yeah, 6:30, maybe 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. So 1 hour to get all your questions answered about physical activity. On Friday, Jen will be right here again at 11. She's going to be making pistachio biscotti. So that sounds delicious. I hope you have a wonderful day. It's absolutely gorgeous out there. Get out, take a nice walk, and I will see you again in a couple of weeks. Have a great day.